So, individuals have different maps of the world. No one map is real or true. The map is not the territory. It's just the best we have at that point in time. You know, the better the map you have, the richer your life. The better the quality map you have, the better you can get from A to B. Much easier. And see, I sort of enjoyed putting this presentation together. I was like, I'm Googling all these different images and stuff. I'm thinking, oh my God, put this one in, take this one out. And I found these images. It's like, if you have this map and you're traveling around the world, you know, probably ain't going to get very far, right? If you have this one here, which is pretty ancient, you still probably aren't going to get very far because it's old-fashioned and outdated. This one might, well, if you could focus in on it, might actually get you someplace, right? So the quality of your experience in life, the quality of your relationships, the quality of rapport you build depends very much on how rich your map is. The richer your map, the better the relationships you have and the more influence you have as well, because you understand others a lot more. You're able to relate to them a lot more, you know, and that's really critical. So change and influence comes from enriching somebody else's map. How do you do that? How do you add value? How do you give? How do you help them expand their perception of things? Any questions? Comments at this point? No? Go on.
This is just a little story that what you're saying reminds me of. I listened to a talk recently about stress, and one of the things that came out of it is the woman was talking about these studies that had been done, and they showed that people who were stressed and believed that stress were bad for them had huge adverse health impacts because of that. But people who were equally stressed but believed that stress wasn't a problem, or that in fact it could have positive benefits, had none of those bad health effects and were on par with people who weren't stressed at all in terms of their health outcomes.
It's
and I
amazing.
Think that just really correlates with what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing.
It's the belief around, is stress good for me, is stress bad for me? So there's beliefs, there's values involved in that, all sorts of different things. But it's a brilliant example. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's good.
That's me.
No, that's really good. Okay, so we're on this journey of being who we are, right? Knowing more about ourselves. We're always on this journey. Doesn't stop here tonight, but... Okay, so generally, we're human doings. Have you heard that before? No? Did you know you were a human doing? Did you know? No? We're actually human doings because, and particularly in the Western cultures, we're out there going, achieving. I've got to do more, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. I have schedules for this, I have lists for that. I have plans for this, right? I have appointments here, I've got to go here, I've got to do. We operate from this perspective, from the point of view of, if I do a lot of stuff, whatever that stuff is, then I'll have that promotion, I'll have that job, I'll have the house, I'll have the family, I'll have, you know, I work my butt off, then I'll get it. And once I get it, then I can be the important person, or then I can be happy, or then I can retire, right? You know what happens when that happens, right? So we're human doings, and we believe in our sort of mucked up way a little bit, that's going to make us happy, and that's the pathway to success. You know, generally when I don't do enough, I then start putting, does anybody have like this negative critical voice in their mind that says, oh, you didn't work hard enough, you didn't do enough, I should have done this a lot better, I made a mistake, oh my God, I'm going to be fired, I made a mistake. Yeah, you know, maybe on some level you can relate to some of that. You know, we evaluate ourselves in a real negative way, and that just keeps this negative cycle going. You know, I've got to do more. I've got to now 40 hours a week is not enough. I now have to work 50 hours a week. I've got to get another qualification, and I've got to. So, do have, and then we think we'll be happy at the end, whatever that be is for you. What I'd like you to consider, and then you don't have to take my word for it, I want you to just consider for a moment a different approach. How about, what would it be like if you start from a point of view of who am I and how I want to be in the world? Who are you being as a person? You know, if you think ahead, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 60 years, and how do you want to be as a person when everything that's going on for you right now is no longer an issue? How do you want to be as a person inside of you? Who am I and what's important to me? Start from that point of view. And from that point of view, you choose actions that reflect that. You choose the actions that reflect who you want to be and how you want to be in the world. And then you look at those actions and think, is this giving me the job that I want, the money that I want, the relationship that I want? And you think, okay, it is. Then you just keep going. But if it isn't, you can reevaluate that self. And again, you always come from that point of who are you and how do you want to be in the world and what's important to you? So you're going for that job and you think, oh, law has done it for me, or accountancy is not for me. Some people know very quickly, they're in there for 6 weeks. I worked my shortest job that I've had in my career. I worked for a council. I lasted 4 weeks. I couldn't stand it. They wanted to know when I was going to lunch and when I was coming back. That was it for me. That's it for me. I'm working my butt off, and then they ask me when I'm coming back from lunch. And what? No, see ya. I'm out. So I knew that's not how I want to move through the world. Has anybody had a job that's lasted less than 4 weeks? No, I think I've got the record. One day.
Many of them.
Oh, man. So you had a while discovering who you are, And you get to a point you think, and in advance, no, I'm not going for that. That culture doesn't suit me over there. I'm not going to even apply for that job, Or that person over there, the way they behave. No, I know where that behaviour goes. I'm not going to get involved in a relationship with that person. That's not how I want to be in the world. I don't want to spend my energy doing that. Don't want to spend time. I'm done. So you don't even go there. Sometimes it takes a while to learn that about yourself, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you know very quickly. So, and this is called an outcome orientation, coming from a point of view of who I am and how I want to move in the world. And, let's say on average, most of you guys would have spent 6 years at university or training in some, real intense environment. I really challenge you to think whether you've spent an equal amount of time learning about yourself and what's really important to you and how you want to be in the world. So let's flip that on its side, and instead of being human doings, let's become human beings and come from a point of being and how you want to be and move in the world. And this philosophy, by the way, this is Eastern philosophy based in a lot of Hindu and Buddhism. A lot of spiritual traditions come from this viewpoint. So really something to consider. So being a human being, getting into rapport with yourself. Wow, what a concept. We think about the other person, we think about the boss, and we think about my partner, or we think about my children and that. But how about starting with yourself, getting in rapport with yourself? Really getting in touch with, and that's again part of that emotional intelligence model, is understanding how you're feeling and what's going on for you. And there are just some trigger questions there to help you connect with that. And it would be, an idea is to every now and then, go grab a cup of coffee. I'm a tea person, but grab a cup of coffee and sit down somewhere and just, dream a little bit and work on answering some of these questions. What's really important to you? And then especially when you want to make an important decision in your life, like a new job or a relationship or what other important decisions are there, guys? There's lots. Health, something to do with health, you know, that is really, really important. So come from what is important to me, what do I stand for, what does that mean to me to have that? So we've explored rapport a little bit, quite a bit, and I think you guys would have picked up, hopefully, that it's a lot about having a responsive connection and relationship with people. There's mutual influence going on. Sometimes people say when they learn some of these skills, which we'll talk about in a minute, hang on, I'm manipulating, I'm actually manipulating what's going on. And like influence, you cannot not manipulate. We're already manipulators. We already manipulate, as in move something from one thing to another. You know, it may have some negative connotations for some people. But the thing is, when you're influencing from the point of view of you achieving your own outcome and helping the other person achieve theirs, that's not manipulation. That's you working together for a win-win outcome. And that's what we're talking about here tonight, is actually doing that. So, who's in rapport and who isn't? This is audience participation section.
Definitely the prince.
Who? Sorry?
Prince.
Prince and princess.
Oh yeah. Oh, yep. We would agree. How do you know, by the way? What makes you say that?
They just look identical. It's kind of embarrassing. It's like couples wearing the same clothes or something.
In sync, yeah. They're doing same behaviour. Yeah. Who else? What else? The bird. Yeah, that's so cute. Yeah. What else?
The soldier and the child
Yep.
exchanging gifts.
These guys are in rapport. Yeah. Come on, guys.
The arm wrestle, it's a very aggressive rapport.
Hands up in rapport.
Probably not.
They've got good eye contact.
They're matching each other.
They're matching. These guys are actually in rapport. Well, now, we often think of rapport as nice, lovey-dovey. You know, we're all in harmony and everything's, you know, we're in agreement and we like each other. But rapport is much more than that. You can have that, but rapport is being in a situation where there's response going on and there's interaction and there's equal interaction. It's not good or bad, it's just how it is. So these guys are actually in rapport. Yeah? Okay, what else? Who else is in rapport?
The white flag.
Oh, these guys down here, yep, they're in rapport. Can you guys see that? Stand up if you want to. You can see? Yeah? What about these guys over here? Yeah? What do you think? Aaron, what do you think?
No, because I think to me it's the eye contact. So she's standing up and he's sitting down. So like
Yeah.
one's kind of dominating.
Yeah, it's not an equal relation. It's not mutual equal relationship here, is it? It is. This is actually they're not in sync. This is out of rapport. And what about this one? No. Yeah. Same deal. They're not connected. There's no responsiveness. There's no mutual influence going on. There's sort of maybe a negative influence, but not a mutual involvement. Where win-win. You know, I want to understand what's going on for you. You want to understand what's going on for me. That's not happening.
She's very angry though.
Yeah.
Like a deer in rapport or not?
I'm waiting, you're
You can.
sleeping.
Are the deer in rapport or not? What do you reckon, guys?
Yeah.
Joe, what do you reckon? Go on. Be brave. We're good.
I think yes.
Yeah. Yeah. The deer are in
They're
rapport.
in tune with one another.
Yeah,
So you
absolutely.
can fight with rapport. That's
You can, but it's how you fight. Am I going into this fight so that we're both going to win as a result of it? We're both going to benefit, or am I going in to dominate somebody else?
the deer will be trying to dominate. So we're just saying, are you fighting with respect or?
Yeah, and rapport very much. That's a really good one, Joe. Joanne, rapport is very much about having respect for the other person.
It's a bit, the fight is, I think, for the reproduction of their offspring, and it has to be the strongest. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah,
Fight.
ultimately.
Brings the strongest man out.
Cool. Okay, another quick one. Come on, guys. What's happening? Hands up for yes. Yeah, they are in rapport. You know, there's a lot of empathy going on there. Yeah, what about these guys? Yes. Down here? Yes. Over here? They are. They're matching each other, right? They are. Okay, what about up there?
What's it say?
It says, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. Yeah, rapport. And can you guys read? You guys, okay. So it's Snoopy, and she goes to Snoopy, this has been a really bad week for me. What can you do when everything seems hopeless? And then he gives her a big whacking kiss on the cheek. And she says, oh, that's really good advice. You know, so there's lots of different ways of rapport. Secrets of rapport, okay. Now, we're into the how section of our presentation, a little bit more specific. We do rapport naturally. We're born with rapport skills. Babies will follow its mum's voice around the room, you know, to locate it. So we already have the innate ability to be in sync with each other. You know, when you go to, you know, in cultures, we talked a little bit about cultures. There are things that you do to get in rapport. You know, if you're in a Greek dance, a Greek wedding, you break glasses or you break plates. That's being in rapport with the, you know, the culture. There are things that are unique that we do and we match quite easily. When you have a connection with a friend and they may be going through something sad, you don't go, hey, how are you today? You know, you don't sort of jump on top of them, do you? You sort of, you know, you meet them where they're at and you say, oh gosh, you know, something sad has happened for you, like, and so you show some sympathy, some empathy. So you match them. We do it naturally. Biggest challenge is to stop doing the things that get us out of rapport. We already have innate skills. How do we build on those? So, secrets. Be genuinely curious about the other person. You know, and we get involved in conversations quite a bit, and our attention is inward about what am I thinking? How am I going to say this? What am I going to say? And meanwhile, like the whole life story of the person's past, you know, they've shared all of that and you missed all of it and you think, oh my God, I wish, you know, I missed the point. So be genuinely curious, recognize that each of us are different, respect the difference, value those differences, and be willing to see the world from their point of view. A lot of empathy, again, those emotional intelligence skills. Rapport skills can be learnt. I'm sure you've seen this. These are pictures, guys, for the people at the back, pictures of world leaders, political leaders meeting each other on the world scene, and 9 times out of 10, their body language mirrors and matches each other almost down to the T. These are just some of the photos that I was able to see. You know, there's Obama there, and Kevin Rudd down here with Obama again, with the Chinese president and the Indian president as well. Yeah. So can you see how they're in rapport? Now, I bet you can go into a coffee shop or a bar, and very, very quickly you will see, and this is something to do maybe as well, who is in rapport and who isn't. When you think about that, can you tell, you know, like they're sort of leaning into each other and you know, I mean, if we have a look at the person sitting beside you, what's their body language like at the moment? You know? And you'll notice when people in rapport, often when I'm presenting, I'll have a whole row in front of me and they all go like this. And then one person goes like this, and then they all go like that. It's actually really cute to see, you know. And I think it's great. We learn so much. Rapport is about focusing on similarities, not on differences. You know, it's focusing on what's similar, what do we have going. So indicators of rapport. How do you know you're in rapport with someone? Question for you guys before I share. How do you know if you've got rapport happening?
I think you can just feel it.
You feel it? Yeah, you get it. Maybe you get a nice feeling in, yeah?
Just in the flow with someone.
In the flow, yeah, absolutely. What else? How do you know you're in rapport?
It's easy.
Yeah, things just, you know, silence is okay, saying things, whatever is okay, yeah?
John and Alexandra are in rapport, hanging into each other, see that?
They are. So some indicators of rapport. So rapport with yourself is inner and outer authenticity. This is being who you are and connecting in with what's going on for you. And then there's the other aspect, which is rapport with other people. And you might hear things like, hang on, you finish each other's sentences. Have you ever had that? You say something and somebody else just, you know, adds that other bit on. I get this all the time. You look like someone I used to know. And I also get this one all the time too. I don't know why I'm telling you all of this. It's just, and I don't know. You know, what was that?
Looking like your dog.
Yes. Have you seen some people who their animals look so much like them? You know? Yeah. Rapport is so good. It's just looking like your dog is. I don't know. You know. But hey, if that works, it works, right?